I just wanted to start off by saying that I know I started with an amazing rig that a lot of people only dream about having. I don't want to come off as some entitled asshole in any way. Truthfully, I'm just a lifelong motorhead who had a classic car at 15 that I purchased while working at a ship plant, and my mom, when we bought it, literally told the guy that it was too beautiful to offer him any less, and I got absolutely fleeced. I didn't spend all my money on this rig as some flex. I did it because I wanted to learn everything there is to know about sim racing from the ground up, and I wanted to share the journey in hopes of inspiring other new sim racers to take that plunge. Truthfully, the rig was a self-preservation purchase. I like driving fast way too much, and I've always had to fight the need for speed, and honestly I knew that taking up sim racing would most likely prolong my life because I love watching the races, and now I can confidently say that driving gives me the same rush as sim racing. Up until a few weeks ago, I hadn't even touched a sim wheel before. My goal for this series is to show people who are new and thinking about getting into sim racing that it isn't that complicated, and that now is actually the best time ever to get into it. I went from researching rigs for a business idea to building my own dream rig in the span of a month and a half, and now I'm climbing up the ranks and having some epic battles on the grid, which segues me to my first tip. Do your research. I'm just going to break down the parts that you need really quick. You're going to need a computer, you're going to need peripherals, a wheel, a base, pedals, a shifter if you need it, and a handbrake. You're going to need a screen, you're going to need a chassis or a seat stand, and a seat. Optionally, you're going to need a screen stand and a fan, and then miscellaneous stuff that you will need are going to be seat brackets, seat hardware, a surge protector, a keyboard and a mouse combo, then you're going to need Bluetooth headphones or a Bluetooth speaker. So the two hardest things for me when I was researching, aside from peripherals and stuff like that, are going to be the PC and the seat. And I have a tip to make both of those a little bit easier. It's literally use AI. This is like one thing that AI is actually really good for. If you're not a PC aficionado, the tech jargon can be quite overwhelming. The main parts of a PC are the motherboard, the central processing unit, the CPU, random access memory, the RAM, the storage device, the graphics processing unit, the GPU, the case, and the power supply. The most important parts you're going to want to pay attention to are the CPU and the GPU. So what you do is you literally ask Google questions about the PCs that you find on Marketplace or on Best Buy or wherever you're looking. Hey Google, what GPU brand is most highly regarded by the sim racing community?
NVIDIA cards tend to be very popular with sim racers, often because of their performance in virtual reality and with multiple monitors, but
Hey Google, how big a waist does the OMP WRCR XL seat accommodate?
The OMP WRCR XL seat is designed for drivers with a waist size between 38 and 42 inches. Is there anything else I can help you with regarding the seat?
Work smarter, not harder, people. So as you can see, you don't have to rack your brain trying to figure out all this tech jargon. You can just let AI scrub the internet for all your information. The easy button. Okay, the next tip I have for the person who's building their first sim rig is going to be budget. Create a really detailed budget. I had a buffer and a contingency amount that I completely blew through. It was the seat. I purchased a different seat that was substantially cheaper, that was out of stock, waited like 2.5 weeks, and then I needed to get that PayPal refund because it was a 3-week deadline, and I had to buy something a lot more expensive. I'm not going to lie, I checked Facebook Marketplace 3 times a day for a cheaper seat, and I could not find one, being a big guy. And that segues me to my third tip. Purchase used if you can. Look on the used market and find good deals. These 2 points are kind of going to get it mixed together here. Take this with a grain of salt, because I've seen $3,000 Thrustmaster combos that look 10 years old with rusty screws on them. And then you got to keep in mind that a lot of these distributors who sell new stuff are going to give you free shipping. So with deals like Black Friday or whatever kind of deals that people are constantly throwing out there trying to get rid of the new gear, these companies putting out their Gen 3 gear, just make sure you're not getting ripped off spending too much on used gear, because factoring in the drive, your time, and all that stuff, the gas, you got to factor that all in, because most of the places have free shipping over a certain amount. This is going to be more of a big city and rural divide kind of thing, because the big cities are obviously going to have the ease of getting the used gear, where in the rural areas, not so much. So I didn't even think about this until as I'm recording this right now, but you could also use the AI for this next one. This is compatibility. This is another confusing thing in sim racing. You need to make sure that your wheelbase is compatible with your wheel. Not all wheelbases and wheels across all brands are compatible. The same is true for generations throughout the brands. And if your wheelbase requires USB power, then you'll also have to have some way to get it power from either the computer or your wheelbase. I've seen people running a long USB plugged directly into their computer, snaking along through their chassis to the wheelbase. You can plug them into the wheelbase if your wheelbase has a USB pass-through or a USB connection, which a lot of them do. And then when it comes to the pedals can be plugged directly into the computer, so you can run any pedals you like, whichever ones fit you best or fit your budget best. Keep in mind that every brand has their own software, and some, like the Race Hub software from Acetec, require being running in the background in order to operate. And to calibrate your gear, you'll need to use each one of these corresponding softwares from the brand of the pedals or whatever other peripheral you're using. As a first-time sim racer, this is one of the reasons that I stuck with one company, and I chose one that had a really nice user interface. And the wireless pass-through USB from Acetec was another big selling point for me, with no wires, just a clean look. Again, I want to stress that I have no affiliation with Acetec, and I want you to find whatever brand that makes you want to drive in your rig 10 hours a day, because that's what I did. I was close to going with Mazda, and I almost bought a SimuCube Pro 2 at one point used, so choose accordingly, and beware, some peripherals will require a hub to connect to third-party peripherals. I just want to touch upon size. The size is a hard one. You can find all these people telling you how much space you need and this and that, but it's a very awkward object to put in a room. Like, the screens are way behind the pedal side of the rig. It basically takes up 2/3 of this really small room that I have. It's like a 9.5 by 9 foot room. So pick your spot accordingly. And if you're not sure, maybe you want to start out with the single monitor and then move up from there. Because I'm not going to lie, yesterday I had the most epic battle for 9th, and then afterwards the guy messages me saying great racing, and we're messaging back and forth, and he's still on a controller. He doesn't even have a wheel. And I'm like, man, I am so slow. Basically what I'm trying to say is you can get into it on any level and then progress from there. You don't have to just build the dream rig like I did, because not everyone's just going to be able to do that. So just get into it. You're going to have a lot of fun. Okay, and this last tip, it kind of pertains to once you've set it up, because I don't want you just to go through all this process of setting it up and then just to get frustrated and then hate it right away, because that is something that you could probably do if you don't set up the rig properly after it's actually built. Don't get so caught up driving the new sim rig without making some tweaks. If it doesn't feel right, then something isn't right and you should make some tweaks. Don't learn how to drive the messed up setup. I spent a bit of time with the wheel deck too far forward, with the pedals too close, with an unusable brake calibration, trying to learn how to drive the car like that. A bad brake calibration is the most game-breaking thing on a sim rig. Calibrate the brake to your oh shit moment. That's literally like, oh shit, I'm about to crash. And make sure it's your actual oh shit, I'm gonna crash pressure point. If your software has different curves, then try one, go on the track, and use the one that makes you lock up the brakes the least. Once you've found the curve that's working best for you, then go to the software in your sim, in my case, Le Mans Ultimate, go to the calibration settings, and then just dial back the sensitivity on the brake until you're not locking the wheels up anymore, but you can still stop adequately. I just want to stress how much just 1% will make the car feel. So you got to be really careful with this. I was at 80% for a week. 79 is my sweet spot. That about wraps up my tips video for planning your first sim rig. I just want to shout out and give thanks to all the people. I think we got 72 as of now in a week. 72 subscribers on this channel. It means a lot. I'm in love with sim racing. I'm loving the community. I'm loving Le Mans Ultimate. I cannot wait to get iRacing. And let me know what other games I should play. I got to get a round wheel because I'm eyeing up that Assetto Corsa rally. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Bosco Too Fast, and I will see you on the grid.